Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my backyard and welcome back to my series I'm doing on building my new trailer. For your convenience, I have put all the videos that go along with this build in a playlist, and you can find that playlist up in the cards and down in the description. So this time we're going to get into some of the customization things here. We have essentially a basic standard trailer, and now we're going to start making it a little more urban logging centric. So let's start working on the stuff that's going to go up on the tongue. So up here on the tongue, we're going to have the winch as well as the extension deck, which will come out here and also be a chain tray. So this whole layout's going to start with the winch plate, which is going to be right here. So this is going to determine where the cross member is going to go, and of course this is going to be up here in the air. So I have some 6-inch seat channel, which I'm going to use to kind of frame things out here. So I'm going to start cutting that to size so we can start filling in this area and creating that extra deck area. A lot of area in that sentence. The base of the tray is going to be comprised of this expanded steel, and I'm just going to get a measurement in here that's going to go somewhere between this piece and this piece, so I can cut this thing somewhat neatly between one of the connections. And then all this will be supported by a couple pieces of angle iron, which just sit right in here and help to support the expanded steel. So the expanded steel being open like this will allow rainwater and small crap to kind of fall through here, and I'll keep my larger stuff that I want to keep in this tray in place. So some of you might be thinking, well, why not have it be a solid bottom, put a lid on it, and then nothing gets wet and it's all perfect and nice. Well, that would work if this wasn't going to be part of the deck. It'll work until I decide that I want to have a log pulled up over here and I can't open a lid anymore. And I'm more just concerned with having a place to store all my chains and sort of my rigging equipment and stuff like that. That's all the stuff that I have floating around like in the yard right now, because I don't really have a good place to store it. So this will serve a purpose of having all the chains in one place so they're not like all over my yard anymore, and they're always with me whenever I have to go out and actually use them. Now to close in the front and back, I have some 14 gauge sheet, which I cut into a couple of strips to kind of just fill in those areas. I'm still waiting for a new blade to come in from our circular saw, so hopefully we'll go through this thinner stuff pretty easily. Otherwise, I guess it's back to hauling out all the stuff for the plasma torch. So with that out of the way, next I can start working on the winch mount area. So I just cut this piece of C-channel, which will bring the winch area up level with the rest of the deck. So that's gonna go here, and then this plate should fit here between these two pieces and give me some space here for a nice bead on both sides for the weld. I am going to probably just clip the corners here on the mounting plate to make it look a little nicer. But at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get the piece of C-channel prepped, as well as this plate prepped, get them fitting up nicely, and at least get them tacked in place for now, because we're about to get hit with some serious snow, and I kind of want to get this stuff just at least installed at this point, so it's not floating around. This is a little bit whiter than it was a little bit ago. So it is Black Friday. Happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone. Half my family is out shopping. The other half is with my kids watching Frozen 2 in the theater. I am chilling at home, so I figured I'd come out here and burn some electrodes for a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing dried off a bit with the blowtorch, and then I'm gonna get this thing totally welded out, and the winch mount area will be ready for some further reinforcement. So I'll probably go over this one more time, fill it out a little more, make it look a little nicer. But for now, I'm going to move on to adding all the reinforcement type stuff. So the first thing to go on here is going to be this gusset, which is going to go over here and cover up this hideous end grain of that C-channel. So this was just cut out of a piece of plate. The angle on here was too long, so the length of the angle was too long to cut on a bandsaw. So I did that real quick with the plasma torch. So that was those brackets. I'm also going to add some stiffeners to the underside of the plate, and that's just going to be made from some strips of steel. So I cut some strips with the plasma torch again and did a little profiling on the end there, and that is the stiffening bar. There's going to be 3 of those that go under there, and I think these are going to be the easiest thing to install before putting these things on, so we'll have a little more access. So let's roll this bad boy over and get these stiffeners installed on the underside of this plate. So I want to make sure I install these stiffeners in a spot where they're not going to interfere with the bolt hole pattern for my winch. The winch has a 12-inch wide bolting pattern, so I'm going to run one stiffener down the middle of the plate, and then I'll also install 2 other stiffeners at a distance far enough apart that they're not going to interfere with that bolt hole pattern. So I'm going to go with a 9-inch spacing off center for those outside ones, which should put them pretty close to the outside edge of that plate. So the winch mount is all done, and the next thing I'm going to add up here is the safety rail. That's going to be made out of this 1.5-inch square tube. and I was lucky enough to find a lot of this stuff in little shorts and lengths at my local steel yard in their drop section, so I can make this entire rail out of their offcuts. So that's a nice bonus. So I'll have a nice little jog here that goes all around this front edge around the chain tray, so I can actually use the trailer itself as a nice little template to get the length of all the pieces that I need. I'm just going to make a frame that travels along the I guess the outside edge here, and bevel everything, or I guess miter everything, get it all looking really nice together, and that's just going to be suspended up on some posts, which will also look pretty nice. So I'm going to be spending a pretty good amount of time at the bandsaw making all these miter cuts for a bit. Then we'll get these things out here, get this frame welded up, get it welded onto all the little posts, and get it suspended in the air, and then our little guardrail thing will be all done. And I think we can move on to the last little bit up here, which I believe is going to be the jack. All right, I have all the parts for the rail cut and prepped and ready to go on. I think the best way to go about doing this is to suspend the rail up in the air on some spacers. This rail is going to be 8 inches off the deck, so I have some spacers which will add up to 8 inches, and I can work my way around, kind of connecting all the parts together, getting the rail suspended on all the posts, and just kind of tacking it all in place. Once I have it all decently tacked in place, I'll go around again and do all the final welding, and hopefully this works out just fine. So I'm working on figuring out the height for this jack. Since this trailer is pretty low riding, I don't want to mount this thing too low and have it bottom out as you're going down the road. So I'm thinking that since this jack telescopes in 2 sections, there is this quick section down here which allows you to quickly move this part up and down, and then this part of the tube is what moves when the handle is turned. I'm just going to mount the jack body here flush with the bottom of the trailer, and that'll give me the least amount of stick out down the bottom there. So I made this mounting plate ready for it over on the Bridgeport. That makes it super easy to make matching hole pattern mounting plates. So that's ready to go. So I will get that thing bolted to the frame in behind that jack. I'm going to raise it up another 2 inches, and that thing should be good to be attached to that plate. I'll just do a few smaller welds for now because you know, commitment issues. But this jack has to come off anyway once this thing goes for paint. So when that happens, I can finish welding it out and then get the jack painted separately from the whole trailer. So next I want to add something to the back of the trailer that's going to allow me to mount my marker lights, which are going to be those 3 lights in the back there. And I want to mount these things so that they are recessed, so when a log comes up here, it doesn't smash these things like would frequently happen on my old trailer. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is mount a piece of C-channel up here, something like this. So that'll give me a nice recessed area to mount my 3 lights. The flange will give this a little bit of protection against things coming in here, and also give me a place to put some reflective tape as well. So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff being anywhere on the back end of the trailer, which is really functional for loading. So I got a piece of 4-inch C-channel that I found at the clearance section at my steel dealer. It is a little bit lighter gauge than the stuff I've already used for the rest of the trailer. They only had these things in 13-foot lengths. I didn't really feel like paying any more money for this thing, so I bought the whole thing. I only need about, what, 6.5 feet? So I will have a little extra for future projects. So I'll bring this thing into the shop, get this thing chopped down to the right length, and then I'll lay out and drill the holes for the lights. These lights mount in grommets, and the hole size for these is 2¼ inches. And then once those are drilled, it's really just gonna be a matter of mounting this thing to the frame. It should go pretty quickly. So daylight, that's a little bit nicer. I'll tell you what, welding in the dark is extremely difficult. We're not gonna take a look at these welds. They're all over the place. So next thing I want to do is add something to the back here to help protect the lights, as you know, stuff could possibly hit the back side of the light bar. So I was originally going to use a second piece of C-channel, just like this, and just weld it on the back here to make a little like kind of tube area that would give a lot of protection back here if anything comes across the bottom of the trailer and hits the back here, so you don't want to pop out the lights. But I was at the steel yard and I found this piece in the scrap bin, and I think it's going to work out pretty well as well. I can weld this thing directly behind the light bar. That'll provide a lot of protection to the lights. I think this is like 14 gauge or 16 maybe at the thinnest. It's pretty decent. So that'll help to protect the lights in case anything comes across there. And I think I'm just gonna leave the ends open. That's gonna leave me a little bit of flexibility as far as working around these things if I need to get inside this area for some reason to work on the wiring or something. I don't know. The only other thing on here is a hole drilled for a grommet, which will allow the wire to pass into this area, which will wire all the lights. So with the light bar on there, I think I'm gonna get ready to get this thing dropped off the stands and onto the ground so I can start working on the things that don't need this thing to be up in the air, which will make it wider and will go on top of it. So like the fenders and the log guards and stuff like that. I don't need this thing on a rotisserie for that, and it'll just be easier to be on the ground. So I just have a few things to take care of. I have a few caps to install for the tongue. I'll cap the underside of the safety rail, and then I'll drill some holes for wiring for later on. And I think that should be just about it. I've been kind of procrastinating this kind of step because with my luck, I will forget something that has to happen to the underside, and you'll find me trying to work underneath this trailer later on when it's on the ground, which is not going to be as much fun. All right, so I am pretty darn sure that is everything that has to happen while these rotisseries, or I guess, is it a single rotisserie? One rotisserie, 2 stands. That's right, yeah. So while these 2 stands are holding this trailer up, that should be it for things I need to do. So I'm gonna work on getting the axles under here and let's get this thing on the ground, I guess. It's exciting. Let's do it. Oh my gosh, falling. Bearings. It's like a trailer now, it's got tires.
How much are those tires?
Huh?
How much are those tires?
280?
A piece?
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're bombing.
How much do you think tires are?
Free!
You think tires are free?
Should be. Alright, get over the fish and strip for you, Daddy.
Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you. Lindsay was surprised by the fact that these tires are almost $300 a piece. She thinks tires should be free. I don't necessarily disagree, but you know, if they were free, then how would anyone make money making tires? People gotta make money. So I do believe I have technically made a trailer now. It has wheels, it has a coupler, it can be hooked to a vehicle and pulled down the road. Although there is still a lot of things left to do, it's just really cool to be at this point, seeing this thing on the ground, seeing some wheels under it, and being able to roll it around. It's just a really cool and powerful feeling to be at this point where it is taking its final form. So next time we'll get into making the fenders and the log arch and start doing some of the smaller stuff, and this thing will come right along. It is Christmas Eve today, so I'm gonna go and do some Christmas stuff, and then I'll get back to this probably next week or whenever you're watching this. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the trailer build or anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.